My name is Maxwell Geiger, and this is Why Snakes Shed Their Skin. Long ago, when the world was still forming, there lived a snake named Oro. Oro was not just any snake. His scales were gold, as if God had christened him, and as if the sun had poured light over him. Wherever he slithered, animals stopped to stare. Even the river slowed to look at his reflection. Oro loved it, and he reveled in the attention that he received. He slid along smooth rocks and dirt so he could see himself from every angle. He refused to pass under thorny bushes. He avoided sharp stones, rough bark, and even tall grass if it looked the slightest bit dirty or dusty. Oro had to remain shiny and golden. "Careful, Oro," the tortoise warned one afternoon. "The world is not a polished floor, and you are not made of crystal." "Then the world should try harder. The Creator should do better," Oro said, admiring his shining side in the river. "These scales are perfect. Artwork. Nothing must ruin them." For a long time, Oro managed to protect his shining armor. He took only the easiest paths around. He hunted only where the dirt was soft, where the water was clear, and when other animals asked for help, he slithered away with the excuse, "I must not risk my shine." But time, nor nature, cares about pride. At first, Oro noticed one tiny scratch near his tail, then another across his back. A thorn brushed him, and then a thin, ugly line was left on his back. Dirt then settled into the seams of his scales, and no matter how often he bathed into the river, the dullness spread, and that shine that Oro once coveted was disappearing. "This water is filthy," Oro screamed at the river. "Clean me better." "I wash what I can," the river replied, "but some scars are not mine to carry away." Oro tried rubbing himself against the smooth stones. When that didn't work, he tried the rough stones. The rough stones then only made it worse, and his once shining body was patchy, faded, and cracked, and the animals who used to stop and stare at him began to look past him. One evening, right before sunset, angry and desperate, Oro shouted at the sun, "Sun, you painted me with your light, fix me." The sun paused itself on the horizon. Its voice was warm but firm. "I gave you beauty," it said, "but not protection from time. You are clinging to what cannot stay." "That will not do," Oro hissed. "I refuse to live as anything less than my golden perfection." The sun slipped away, leaving him in darkness. As the night grew colder, Oro heard a faint whimpering. He found a nest of field mice, trembling in the grass next to him. Their burrow had collapsed, and the open field left them exposed to owls. "Help us," they squeaked in the smallest mouse voice. "We can't dig fast enough before the hunters come." Oro hesitated. Saving them would ruin whatever shine he had left. He turned away, then he caught his reflection in a puddle as he slithered away in the grass. Faded gold, eyes hard. He realized something. His scales weren't beautiful anymore, and his obsession has cost him everything that he cared about. Oro turned back, and he said, "Stay close. I'll cover you." He slithered into the thorny bush. He curled himself over the mice, and by the time the owls were circling overhead, Oro was so tangled in the rough mess that they couldn't see the small family beneath him. It was a perfect protection. And when the morning came, the mice crawled out from under his battered body. "Thank you," they squeaked in unison. Oro slithered out from the thorn bush, where the old tortoise then found him. "You look awful," the tortoise said. "I know," Oro muttered. "I ruined everything I cared about." "Maybe you didn't ruin it," he said. "Maybe you've just outgrown it. Try peeling away what no longer fits," the tortoise said. Too exhausted to argue, Oro pressed his side against a nearby stone. At first it hurt, but then a layer of his skin snagged and lifted. He pushed harder and harder, and finally, scraping against a rock, then another stone, piece by piece, he began to slide out of his old skin. Oro shed his skin whenever it grew tight, when it was time for him to shed it. Oro glanced at his new scales, and he stared in disbelief. He couldn't believe what had just happened. I can do this again? He asked the tortoise. As long as you're willing to let go of the old, the tortoise said. From that day forward, Oro shed his skin whenever it grew dull and tight. He still liked his shine, but he no longer worshipped it. It was no longer an idol. He moved through thorns to help others, crossed rough paths, and accepted that some things must just be left behind in life. And that is why, even now, today, snakes shed their skin. They are learning again and again to let go of what no longer fits. Thank you.